Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Modstream. That was a rather long stream starting soon. Sorry about that. Had to get some shit taken care of real quick. Hello, Veek. What's going on, dude? Oh, and you know what? The one thing that, of course, I forgot to do this entire time was, I forgot to check whether or not... Oh, that's a different one. That is something else. But I forgot to check whether or not the, my window is closed, and I'm pretty sure it's open, which means I'm gonna have some background audio for a moment. Pizza Dude, what's up, dude? I haven't seen you in a... I think I've seen you once before, because that's a name that sticks with you. How you doing, dude? So we have HK Explode GRP. I'm pretty sure that's in thingy, but I want to make sure. Yeah, it is. Okay. So now I need to go into ARR, open up images, and I need to re-index the phase disruptor hit. Say use remapping, and it's BEXPL. So there's that. And then in my own images ext, I need to go and find the photon cannon weapon hit and change it to 9 and 3, I think. I mean, I can just check by opening this up. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right, let's check out those in action. No, wait, I can just check it out now. Interesting. It's almost like it feels like a little too translucent, actually. Like, it's hard to see. There's a pretty obvious sound cue that you guys aren't hearing, but... Yeah, and I guess it's pretty obvious on units that are smaller anyway. Oops. See a nerd. Yeah, at least I can track which units are being hit this whole time, so... Okay, so that's that. That sounds like I didn't save my images dead or something. Phase disruptor hit. 9-4. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to use... BEXPL, yeah. So basically, DF went in and modified the set of... What would you call it? He modified a couple of the graphics here so that they would actually be indexed correctly. One of them was the unused photon cannon hit, which is what I was just showing off. So that'll further separate the photon cannon weapon from the Dragoon weapon. But this one is supposed to be used by scout missiles, well, Panoptis missiles now, Dragoons, and Arbiters, maybe some others. So HKX Blood is supposed to be used by that. In this particular case, we've got it set to 9 and 4. I'm thinking, again, maybe I just didn't save, and because sometimes PyDat just doesn't mark entries as modified for whatever reason, so I don't know if that has something to do with it. But it does look like the graphic is still not being loaded correctly. And it is supposed to be thingy HKX Blood, which is where I've got an MPQ unit thingy HKX Blood. It's not case sensitive, so that shouldn't matter. The only thing that I can think of is that maybe the antimatter missile hit. Oh yeah, the antimatter missile hit is technically a different entry, even though it's the same everything else. So that's why it wasn't working. That was my next guess, and it turns out that that was right. That's pretty goofy. What can you do? So just to confirm that, yeah. So the key thing here is that originally it was not transparent at all. So it was actually much harder to see a unit in the middle of getting shot by a bunch of Dragoon shots. Whereas now it's still pretty obvious, but you won't have to worry about that in the same way. So I think that's pretty good. Oh, this is a bug. This is pretty stupid. All right, so that looks pretty good. Better than before. Anything that we can do to make weapons and projectiles and impact shots a little bit less in the department of like basically making it so that they're not impossible to read through, you know? They're not completely opaque. That is generally better, I think. So trying to think if there's anything else that was. Now, I guess I made it so that the scout itself. Yeah, the scout has its own custom death graphic now, which I'm not sure if it was supposed to be used for the scout or not. But it's bigger. Well, maybe not, maybe it's about the same size as the one that the Aurora uses. So I might swap that for the Aurora, since then it looks more like a custom one or something. I don't know. Maybe I could call both the explosion for the or maybe as a read I could call the explosion when they successfully detonate and deal damage due to their last orders passive, but the default or like that custom one that I just was showing off from the scout, that one could be the default death animation for the Aurora, so you'd get both, and you'd only get both if the damage was actually dealt. That could be like a nice read for the ability itself. So okay, and now just in GPTP, I need to pop open the file that says that handles last orders, which means I have to search for this whole thing. Okay, here we go. Oh, okay, here we go. So this is where creating the bullet. So we know it's in update unit state. I'm going to check game hooks for the current document. Oh, wait, no, I can do it right here. Create top overlay. So we'll try this. And we'll say... Is this an SEBW thing? Or I guess not. Oh, no, it's a method of... the sprite, so. Okay. And then we're using 000, but the image ID should be whatever is normally 213, okay. So let's try that. Okay. So now that that's done building, we can pop it in here. I'll just add the latest files. What was I testing? Oh yeah. So if I just do like spawn Goliath, right, and then I spawn Aurora. Okay, but then if I spawn an Aurora on them, that doesn't work. I wonder if you can't create top overlay because it's technically dead? Or maybe it's just because it's not, like, the iScript of this is not configured to play like that. I'm not sure. Like, if I look at the nanite field overlay, field. It's just a series of playframe instructions before it dies, right? This is also a bug, but whatever. And then, so I could copy this and use this as a basis, because if I look at, well, it's a series of play frames and then an end, so in theory this shouldn't matter that much, but I don't know, maybe it does. So we should say hope you enjoy that background noise, by the way. I'll get up in a sec. So that's cutting it out at 8. What was this actually? Yeah, okay. It went to 8. Okay, and then 1165 is mass orders. impact. What's the GRP for T-Bang S? 217. ISID 489. Graphic turns, draw if cloaked, not clickable, do not use full I script, and we're looking at a draw func of 9 and 4. Okay, and then I can just call 1165 here. What's up, Meow? Welcome back. All right, I gotta close that window, hold on. Okay. Hey, that's not what I clicked on at all. All right. Okay. So what I'm thinking is, let's see. So maybe I should do unit order target unit sprite. Maybe that will work? This seems like a really asinine way to get around it. I don't even know if it technically has an order target or not. I would assume it does, but I don't know how iQuery initially programmed this ability. Yeah, okay. Probably couldn't access it through this or something. Okay. So there's got to be a different overlay call, though. That doesn't care about, like, that basically just sprawls. I was copying an existing example from over here. Target sprite. I assumed it wasn't necessary either, but the issue is that I'm creating a top overlay. Well, Actually, I'm not sure if the issue is still even the case. So basically, I'm creating this overlay over a unit that immediately then gets removed. And I think what's happening is that because the unit gets removed, we don't see... like, because the unit dies before anything else happens, we don't see it, actually. But I'm not sure. I'll try to read... I'll do another test real quick. But when I was using the original image ID for the graphic that I'm using, I was... like, it only plays the one thing for some reason. I'm not sure why, though. 1165 is the right image ID. So... yeah, exactly. So that's... so what I'm trying to do instead is access a way to create, like, a... do the same function that in iScript the sprawl command does, where it's SPROL, which is a sprite overlay. And when you do it like that, it's it doesn't follow the main graphic. It doesn't do anything like that. It just creates the image until it gets removed, basically. Well, tell iCore about those parentheses then, IMO. Well, I don't know if it would be the SCBW namespace or not, because it might be related to, like, a method of the sprite struct or something. What I'm saying is there might be a function that like create top overlay that does what I'm looking for, but is a member of this instead of its own a part of SCBW. So I don't know if SCBW would be where it is what I'm saying. Bonk. iCore sent me this really complicated nonsense, so I don't know if it's related, if it's actually what we would want, but... Apparently there is no function for simple sprawling, but iCore says he'll add it after he's done trying to fix the warp texture issue. So I guess I'll just wait for that then. Oh, you know what I can do though while I'm sitting here is I can start configuring the images for the Salamander and Pegasus entries, for the engines, rather. So we can do Salamander engine, Pegasus engine. So we got, so what have you been up to anyway, Viker? Oh, classic. Forgot to actually change the imgo. Yeah, makes sense. I haven't taken too much of a look at it yet, but I will after I'm done with this round of changes. Epic. Dude, imagine actually only having those as your engines. There's a giant thing over here. I thought for sure that would be where the main engine came from. But there's nothing like that. That's funny as fuck to me. Isn't there already a create thingy? Did you double up on the name or something? Well, there was already a commit call, or there's already a function called create thingy, so that's what I'm saying. Like, did you name it create thingy as well, and it doubles up in the name, or what? Subiquare. I thought it suited the name Grand Library better than a dome. Okay, so that's not where I wanted to go. Have you been able to make any progress on the issues with the warp texture, by the way? It's like an insane, like it crashes to desktop without an expanded warp texture GRP, and then when you do have it at 255 pixels, it crashes with an insanely high code of like 2929292929 or something. So pretty useful. I don't know why it would possibly crash like that. The graphic is an even 255 by 255. Three. All right, let's take a look at your design document .md. I would have elaborated on why C++ is better than C and like maybe lay out the pros and cons of each one. But that's just to make your argument a bit better. I feel like, is there some bug or something? Is this supposed to be happening where I can read like part of the header or something? What the fuck? Seems a little odd. Library that handles inputs, graphics, sounds, and even networking. Well, if it helps with networking, that'll be pretty useful. Yeah, that sounds pretty promising. STL 2.0 is, if it allows us to use this accelerated 2D render API you were talking about. I figure we should probably stick with OpenGL and not use DirectX just because there's like a million issues with DirectX, it seems like, but like compatibility wise, whereas I think OpenGL is fine on everything, but I'm not sure. That's something I need to do more research on myself. Maybe it'll be fine. Surprisingly, 3 parts. So basically the engine will initialize everything that's used by the game. And presumably the editor too, but I haven't gotten that far yet. But the game will have final say on what actually gets changed. So like the... Well, the game would have the data too, though, right? Or... I mean, this has the functions that the game can use, but the game would use the data or define the data, I would assume. That makes sense to me, but I'm not sure if there's some hole in that logic. Well, you're talking about data in here, so maybe you are talking about loading the data into the engine instead of the game. Oh, you say game state specific data from files. Yeah, what specific behaviors, AI and trigger scripts. Okay. Yeah, we talked about writing them in C#. I'll have to learn that, but it should be possible. Divided into 2 modes. Okay, so it'll have data access, but not the actual data itself will be in the game side of things. That's basically what I thought. I do not think we should store them in JSON, but we can store them in a human readable format, sure. If they are binary, we should just supply the tools to open them, though. If there's some advantage to dealing with binary. So this comment that you make here about custom mod data depending on the map pack that's running, I think the game state data should probably be decoupled from the scenario data, and the scenario would have like a trigger. It wouldn't be a trigger action, but it would be like some sort of setup information where you would specify which game state data you want to load. So like if I have a map and I want to specify that I want to load HYDRA and Toddborn because it's a map crap map and I wanted to use the HYDRA game state and then some Toddborn units as well, so there's like anime and police running around and stuff, then I should be able to specify that in the map. But I think you should also have the flexibility as a player to boot up any given melee map or any given scenario map. And obviously your mileage may vary, but you should be able to then specify what kind of game state data you want to load into. And based on that, the lobby itself should probably be able to change to allow you to pick whichever race from whichever game state data you've selected. So basically there'd be like a map selection screen on the right and a game state selection screen on the left, and you'd tick which boxes for the game state selection you want. And then on the right, you would pick your map, and then it would create the lobby. You'd be able to pick whatever stuff you wanted to do in terms of races, and that should be able to be reinitialized as well. Like if somebody forgets to pick Hydra and they only pick Toddborn, like, oh shit, I wanted to pick Hydra too, they should be able to go back and pick Toddborn or pick Hydra as well, and then reinitialize the lobby without having to remake the lobby, so that if people have already joined, they can just like, oh, hold on one sec, guys, the host will fix this real quick, and then they'll be able to pick different races or whatever. So like I want a really seamless design philosophy for that sort of thing. I'm not sure how that exactly pertains to what you mentioned here. Like, I don't think it's necessary for depending on map packs for that sort of thing. I think the scenario should be able to specify. Like, if you use map settings, it should your game state should be specified based on that, right? Yeah. So like when you use map settings, it's only whatever custom data, whatever game data is stored in the map and specified in the map, as well as whichever, maybe it's like loading a game state file from something else, like it's loading the Hydra game state file and the Toddborn game state file and the Overlord game state file. If it's set to load all of those, and then maybe it has some custom stuff where it's like it's got its own units going on or something, that should be its own deal, and that should be possible to do, I think. And then you say we may not want to release entire source of the engine, but only interface that other code parts are using to communicate with it. Header files and DLLs, game and editor part could be fully open source. Yeah, I don't know about licensing either. That's its whole like insane thing, right? So I would say this is something we should definitely look into, but it's not something that we need to worry about until later. Like, I'm of the opinion that as long as we have a commitment to making things open source and human readable, and it doesn't really matter if we don't launch the game and it's immediately open source. Like what should happen is we should make it very clear at every stage of development this project will eventually be open source. And we just make certain elements of it open source as we can, as is reasonable. And I think eventually the whole thing will be open source, like the entire engine or whatever. But the idea is to like wait until it's stable enough and tested enough that we can comfortably do that, you know? At least that's my thought process. Maybe we'll be convinced to make it open source earlier or later than what that would initially make you think. Don't say Jason. We should make our own format, dude. .rts IMO. In-game name, stats, weapon, and mover used. Yeah, I think behaviors defined in code makes sense. But the other thing that we could do is we should allow for some sort of like so if there's like a behavior where a weapon goes to max range and then returns, like the Hydra lurker attack, we should code that behavior in, but we should make that behavior then selectable in, like, instead of assigning it to the weapon ID or whatever, we should be able to go into this weapon and tick like returns to attacker and goes to max range. And if both of those are ticked, then that behavior happens. You know what I mean? It has JS in the name, which means it's JavaScript, which means it's AIDS. So that's my train of thought there. That's my line of logic. And I like how you say it's human readable. You want to see a JSON file? You tell me if this is human readable. Hold on. Because I can't even minimize Notepad++ when I open this. Check out this JSON file. That's pretty readable, right? I mean, this is my experience with JSON. Oh, wait, yeah, this is a JS file. Hold on. Check out this JSON file. Yeah, you thought that was good. That's not the same thing. Oh, no. This is my experience with JSON, just so you know. I'm still scrolling. I'm still scrolling. I'm not even halfway done. It's one line. The entire document is one line. No. Here's another one. Even if you were to do that, I've seen what it looks like when it's not fucked up like that. It's still AIDS. The 3 lethal. We can try whatever. I was mostly just being goofy. If Jason ends up working, we can do that, but I think I don't think we need to come up with our own file format per se, but I do think that something that would be easily readable without needing a proprietary tool would be nice. I know it doesn't crash if you don't see it, iQuare. That's why I know it's linked to warp texture. All right, I linked it to you. But please try and focus on that crash, man. I can't do anything until that crash is fixed. I'm really dead in the water here. Oh, okay. We both DM'd you it. Now all that's left is for DF to DM you it for 3. Yeah, I'm not sure about IDs. Like, that does feel pretty shit. But I guess we could do like string IDs or something. Height should be inherited from tiles right below it. Yes, for doodads. But it should be more than just that, because some doodads will be like ramps or whatever. So heights will be like the height transition area will be defined in the doodad itself, presumably. We're gonna need some way to edit the pathing and whatnot, and we're also going to We really need to allow the mapper to edit pathing and all that shit manually if they want to. Because I mean, think of all the times where you try to seal a gap in Starcraft and you just can't normally, so you have to make a custom tile. Yeah. Well, I guess the human readable idea was that they shouldn't be secret. They shouldn't. They should be. You know, it allows things to be more modding friendly. I personally don't think it's that big of a deal if we supply a functional, high quality tool to edit the binary data if it is in binary. I also think that it doesn't really matter what format we pick because I will want an in editor tool to edit all of this shit instead of needing to have Notepad++ open. Like I'm gonna want that to be a part of the actual experience, like in the GUI. So that's gonna be something we're gonna make anyway. Map name, players.c, terrain layers, pre-placed units. Are you sure it's the flash crashing? Well, I don't think it needs to be. Oh yeah, I could see the texture once too, but I was pretty sure that there was a different kind of crash happening. Realistically speaking, be loaded once. I mean, they will be loaded once, but I'm not talking about something that's related to performance. I'm mostly talking about ease of access for editing them in the editor. Well, I like what you've written for your own role, since that's most of the work. So good stuff. I assume you meant it's much harder to corrupt something within JSON or human readable because you said, yeah, okay. After reading this, I'm pretty hyped. I gotta say, I'm like, let's just get started on engine coding right now. Fuck it. But obviously, that seems unreasonable. Seems epic, but unreasonable. I really agree with this line here. This is something I've been trying to do in GPTP lately, where I find cases where we're copying and pasting a lot of code, and I'm like, fuck this, dude. Let's just make this a function. So And I agree with this too. Unfortunately, we got into GPTP after it had years stuff, by the way, years of development by other people. Like it was a shit show as soon as that happened. So, hi. Let me see if I can figure out where this warp flash shit is. So the thing is, I see warp texture, right? But I don't know where the flash is. 192 warp flash header. No, there is like the warp flash appears to be some weird shit. Yeah, exactly. It's pretty unfortunate. But yeah, anyway, suffice it to say, I'm pretty pumped for this sort of thing. Definitely looking forward to smashing this stuff out. Have you sent this to Bethreelithal, by the way? I'm actually gonna post it in programming bin. He said he had some family shit or some personal shit happen, so he wasn't gonna be able to make music for Deliverance. I don't know if he'll be back in action in the next few months or whatever, but well, I already posted it, so you're shit out of luck. Let's see. He said, unfortunately, a personal matter has come up, and I won't have much time to dedicate to the project. And then he said, sorry about that. Good luck, though. Good luck. Good luck, though. And he said, it's just, I asked him, well, I basically said, hope everything's okay, essentially. And he said it was mostly his work eating up all of his time, so. Yeah, it sounds like things just got really busy for him. All right. Anyway, I've mucked about with that stuff for a little bit now. I still have no idea what's up with the warp flash thing. Yeah, it looks like Warp Flash is actually just a remap, which is what I thought too, from what I know. Unfortunately, that means there may not be an easy way to extend it to 255 pixels. Let's close this for now. I'm trying to think of what else needs to be done right now. I think I will do some more building conversions from the Zo buildings in an attempt to get the various graphics taken care of. The thing is, I don't know how many of these graphic. Oh, the Gorgolith apiary. That's one that I do need to fix up. But there are a few graphics here that I'm not really sure about. Like this graphic is way too big to be the Devourer Haunt. It's way bigger than the Spire, for example. But it looks like it could fit it. And the Mutation Pit, like, I could probably make this. No, I don't think so. I would have to like flip it, which is really goofy. Maybe it will look okay though. I'll see what happens after I do the Gorgolith apiary. Because like they just don't fit the same sizes of buildings or whatever. So I might have to resort to using some old shit from other games or whatever, like I've had to for Protoss in some cases. Unfortunately, we still don't have like a reasonable way to extract all of the various frames using the previous method of using the EXE, because it doesn't actually extract the right graphics for the Zerg buildings, the Zo buildings. It just extracts like the birth and wither animations instead of the actual animations. So everything that I don't want, basically. So that's pretty unfortunate. Here we've got 197 or 198 being the widest, and it looks like 87 being the width. So actually 198 is the height. The width will have to be 87 times 11, which is 957. We'll set our thing here to 87. And here we go. No idea if this is actually going to align properly, so. Oh, that one is off by 1 pixel. In fact, which one is it? It's 5, okay. Go back and fix that later. Wow. Oh yeah, I don't know if they have GitLab accounts. How? Is it the same? Okay. So 9 is... needs to go up 1. And apparently... the fuck? Okay, just judging by eye test, that seems right. So we'll go ahead and process that one. See about it. All right, better. Only 3 and 4. Oh wait, hold on. So 3 needs to go up 1, I think. No, 3 and 4 need to go up 2. 5 needs to go up 1, and the rest are good. Perfect. Jesus Christ. Why do I need to do that just to fix a fucking crash? So stupid. What an infuriation. Probably won't even be using this, but might as well mask it out anyway. Bing bong. Ah, scams. And there's like an infinite number of rabbit holes you could jump down trying to get all the pixels for this one. All right. It's a good thing Icor's worked on like all of these different small projects in the past so that he has a little bit more experience with stuff like those libraries and whatnot. Man, I really can't understate or overstate how much better those graphics end up looking after I've processed them this way. I was looking back at the Overlord Iris. I was like, holy moly. It definitely looks different. I think the Othsteleth birth looks a lot better now too. And the Arylith Koi's animation is smoother and everything. It is a little bit more work than I would like it to be, but there's a little bit of reward there, you know? You get something out of it. And at least it doesn't feel as much like a really entirely unreasonable setback like this Grand Library thing, where just because some graphics aren't big enough on the low end or some functions don't take into account larger sizes, you just get random crashes for buildings that are too big. Like, that feels so stupid. So, pretty unfortunate. I just reminded DF about it. So yes. Okay, time to grab the other. Okay, this looks about right. Alright, hold on. Because I can do this in a more intelligent way if I just add that. Or can I? Might have to redo it, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I guess something like that. Yeah, of course, all of them are like that. Unit ID is 226 for the Grand Library. I think I see why I masked this out originally. Moves around a little too much. Okay. Holy adjustments. Aggressive mode, by the way. Hmm. How did we get that yellow tip? Oh wait, I have to actually save this and then cut it. And then close this. Move that over there. Oh. That's stupid. Okay. So now we finally conquered that challenge. Just make a shadow for it, and then should be good to go. Still got plenty of time over here, which is nice. I like how iQuery still hasn't responded over there. Wonder if he's still even on the stream. Oh, okay. It just looked from an outsider that there was nothing. What's going on, Floof Skywalker? HYDRA's the name of the project, so not really modding a HYDRA list as much as I am creating an entirely new game state with a bunch of new units. Alright, let's see if we can figure out why this building is... whether or not this building still crashes. No? Okay, so it looks like the change... Alright, so that's puzzling, but maybe we can figure that out later. What was I was looking for something, but I don't remember what it was. Oh yeah, the Gorgolith apiary. How we doing over here? Something tells me something might be messed up with it. Well, the shadow's definitely manually set up here. Yeah, let's try that one again. I also noticed now that the I was worried that the shading was actually too far, but it's a little bit more faded than it ought to be probably, so that should be changed at some point. Not sure why it feels like the graphic is so offset though. That's really weird. Yeah, I just did a test to make the library 200 pixels by 200 pixels, and it doesn't crash. Obviously, that graphic is like alias to fuck because I just resized it. I didn't do anything to make it actually smaller on an architectural level. So we're trying to figure out what that could mean. All right, so I fixed the shadow there. Selection circle is still botched. So what I guess I can do now is I can pop into the... presumably I can pop into the GRP itself if I go back far enough here. Here we go. Oh, this is not the right one. Let's go back. Here we go. Let's do this. And we are going to take this gradient map, turn it up to 85. I might even change it to another kind, though. Not Irilith Quay. I mean, this problem is that we don't really have that many. Oh, Zerg New. Here we go. This is what I was thinking. Normally, this is what I would put in for like 65%. Even that might be a little faded, though, so we'll go to 70 opacity on that. Find my... that was pretty stupid. Not the one that I was supposed to be doing. Okay. And then I'm just going to crop this out to 148 tall. I'm not sure if I saved the PSD, so we'll go over here and do that. Crop. Just so I don't have to keep cropping it afterwards. I'm actually cropping out some data that's been masked out, so I don't really want to do that if I can help it. And we'll call this 11. I really wish I didn't have to use this other tool for processing the graphic, but you do what you gotta do. Okay, good there. Close that. So odds are, it looks like it wasn't related to the texture at all, by the way. The Grand Library crashing was not related to that. Apparently it was actually related to... Wow. Maybe this building is just set up incorrectly or something. I don't know why it would be offset like that. But I think the issue now is... that the warp flash remap is not taking into account a higher quality or whatever, or higher size. Oh yeah, we have wireframes from June 3 hung for the Overlord structures. Forgot to show that off earlier. X, there we go. Check them out. So, there you go. Okay, so where was I going to go from there? Icor told me to go look for some stuff in the assembly dump again, which is always my worst nightmare. Oops. Oh, that's probably supposed to be 0 CO, not OCO. Yeah. All right, boys, time to go code diving again. Last time I did this, it wasn't even the problem, so that was pretty cool. So this is like get fastest direction or something. It's not related, I don't think. That's open file. This is like memory stuff. Oh, this is in the same function. Yeah, June 3, huh? Dude, check out this unit reference, not actual unit. I like that one. Map height and shit. It's creating contours and paths. Something about distance. This might be related. I'm not sure. What the fuck? Amazing. This looks like it might be related. All this stuff so far has not been. Unit weapon max range. Randomize short. That's order to destination. Now, what I will say is that there's much less shit here that I have to worry about, which is nice. Like the last time I was searching for like a 255 or something crazy. So of course that's used everywhere. This is 192 by the looks of it, so. It's creating a list. Wow, what the fuck? Reasonable. Definitely not related. Unit wireframe update, not related. Yeah. Okay. Fix collision, not related. Fastest distance. What is this? Oh, I don't have any data on it, unfortunately. The fuck? Yeah, this is like movement flags or something. Try to, okay. Not related. And not related. Almost done. I hope. Yeah. That was the whole reason the preprocessor was made, was to make deliverance AI quickly and to improve the HYDRA melee AI. The fuck? Initialize image array. I guess this could be related. But I don't think so. Put that in the maybe category. It's getting distance, so it's not related. IMO. I like that one. I sure hope I'll get to the bottom of why this is crashing soon. What an agonizing process. Why would I know the answer to that question, dude? 228 by 228 also crashes. Man, it's very rare that I say that I hate something, but holy moly, I hate this. This is terrible. What a toxic fucking environment to work in. .226 crashes. So 225 is apparently the max. I'll try again with 226 just to make sure. Anyway, apparently it doesn't matter though, because I can actually make this graphic 220 in size, so... I don't think this will result in anything positive. Yeah, it still crashes anyway. Which doesn't really make any sense to me. Maybe because it's not square? Why is it crashing now? I don't understand. I was testing at 224 and it was fine. In fact, you know what? I'll do you one better. I'll actually save over this by increasing the size and we'll see if it fixes the problem, because I really don't understand that at all. Unless maybe I just forgot to PyGRP it or something, or PyDAT it, rather. No, it's just not working at all. How? I don't get it, man. I set it to 224 and it started working again. But why would it start to work again? Whereas if I canvas this down to 220, which is within range and below 224, it stops working. Like, you can't make this shit up. How? 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 Seriously, how? It was working at 224. 225 was the maximum value I could go. I've set it down to 220. 5 pixels less than the maximum value previously, and it crashes. What the fuck? What the fuck? The only so what would make it not crash is if I resized it instead of canvassed it. That's what would make it not crash. I guess. That's the only thing I can think of. Holy moly. What an infuriating issue to look into. Yeah, I know I cut it out. I'm just testing random shit. That doesn't fucking matter either. DF, I'm telling you, it didn't crash at 224 or 225. I've now set it to 224 and 225 in sequence, and it crashes. And the way that I tested 224 and 225 previously was by resizing instead of canvassing. And when I resized it, image resize, it worked. Why? I don't know. It's stupid. This whole thing is insane. I've never experienced this before in my life. Something where it just literally does the same thing, no matter what. Or rather, it doesn't do the same thing, even though it's the same. I'm handing it the same size. If it was color data, why would it work? Why would the graphic look fine if you don't watch it warp in? If you don't see it warp in and you mouse over it after it's done and you look at it, it looks fine. There's no issues. It doesn't crash. It only crashes when you're looking at it as it finishes. Why would color data have anything to do with that? What a puzzling mess. Canvassing does not work. Resizing does. I've got no idea. But I know I need more water. So I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Wow. Instant wireframe, by the way. Okay. All right, DF, you want me to send you... Is it safe to have loops without waits if you certainly know that they will end during the iteration? I think I do that sometimes, but... To be safe, you could just put a wait 1 or something. Okay, so I don't know if this actually, did I save this and then make this and then I think I already tried this one. And then we okay, so that one crashes. So we'll say and then there's going to be one where we just resize it to 220. Oh, this is all crashing now. It crashes when I even try to preview the structure now. Ah! I don't know what's going on now. What a fucking shit show. Nope. I just hope that Iquare can figure it out based on the stuff that I sent him, and we can solve the bug that's stopping me. Um, oh, this is for the Phobos impact. Okay. I was confused. Oh. Oh, interesting. So that would be fine, except somehow the... That's really weird. I'm not sure how to fix that, though. Check this out, DF. How do I fix this? The fact that the laser extends past the impact. Oh, I guess that's the case for all of these. It's just more obvious now. Hmm. Okay. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, okay. I like that better. I think there should be some sort of mild randomization on buildings. Or maybe it should just be any graphic that's bigger than a certain amount of pixels should have like a mild randomization on where like the projectile actually goes and the hit marker spawns, so that it's not always in the same location. But I'm not sure how I would go about doing that. All right, we got about an hour left here, so I'm going to try my best here to try figure out what the fuck is going on with the... Oh, wait, this isn't weapon. This is muzzle flash. Try to figure out what's happening with the Grand Library stuff. Can I actually start to build the structure now? Okay, now I can. And crashes, which is what I would expect. And so now we can resize it to be, well, do that, and then 220, and then save. Now we're still getting a crash, though. That's really confusing because this is the exact process that I used to create the graphic before. I canvassed to 236 so that it was square, and I resized it. The only thing that I can think about is maybe I should try a different size, but I don't know why that would matter now. Maybe because, like, no, that doesn't make any sense either. Excuse me. Because what I was doing was I'd resize it to 220 or 200 or whatever, and then I would test, and I would undo the resize and resize it again, which means that still what was happening was that it was a canvas before. So I'm really not sure why it would start to break now, since I didn't touch anything on the data side of things. I'm trying to not be as angry and frustrated as really I feel like is warranted in such a situation, because the logical part of my brain knows that that's not going to help, but I'm really at my wit's end with this. I have no idea why we would have a situation where previously a graphic would work in certain situations and then it would suddenly stop working in those same situations. Like, I don't get it. I'm not sure what's causing the issue. I don't really know what's happening with it. I just know it's really, really annoying. But it's mostly annoying because I can't figure out what's causing the problem. So. Like, I don't even know what's happening with this crash. I've never gotten this crash before in my life. The only thing I could think of is, like, maybe I need to re-index it or something. But, well, I guess I would be able to... Oh. Well, yeah, I guess that would be it. Alright, hold on. Let's reset it to 220. And let's set this. Delete that. Why would you say that it exists when I literally just deleted it? Wow. Okay. That's really weird. I don't know why SFGRPconf would be having such a hard time with this. But now I can place it anyway. Alright, and this BMP is 220 by 220, I think. Should be. Yeah, okay. But it doesn't really help us because this is created with a different graphic, a different process entirely. So something is stopping the Shadowflyer GRP converter from... Oh, it's because I accidentally unticked compressed GRP. Alright, never mind. That should fix the problem, yeah. That was just me clicking randomly and I didn't notice it. Okay, so now we should have a GRP that is using the same methodology as before, except... this one still should not crash us if we're doing this properly. Okay. So these two don't work. Out of curiosity, I guess I'll start by open and crop and then canvas width to 220 And then we'll also check if this works. Because if this one works, then it doesn't really matter and the mystery deepens. But if it still doesn't work, then I've got no fucking idea. Okay, it still doesn't work. All right, DF, you have your samples. Maybe you can figure out what's causing the issues. I never did figure out what might be causing the issues with the Gorgolith apiary being offset so much. But honestly, I've got no idea why it would be like that. Like, if we look at Gorgolith apiary and we compare it to Spire, so it looks like the Spire has a bunch of negative space below it. That might be related. So we may have been inadvertently shooting ourselves in the foot here by taking such care to remove the lower piece or whatever. Yeah, snaky.lol. What's up, Luciferius? So actually, this might be better off if we keep that negative space there. Also, I think I'll increase the shading a little bit. I don't know if that's too much or too little. We'll figure it out, I guess. It'll probably screw up the shadow. But we can always reprocess it. It should still be the latest shadow that's in there, but it's not that big of a deal either way. All right. Ah! Why is the credits music so loud? Yeah, like I figured the shadows kind of messed up. I would actually move this further up, personally. Like, by 10 pixels? Why is this program so shit? Oops. Now I know that previously I boxed these guys into 148, right? So what's the difference between 208 and 148? Now 60, I think. So if we do that, we just need to, in theory, take all of the Gorgoleth, Apiary, Shad. Apparently this is corrupted somehow. I don't know how that's even possible, considering the graphic works fine in-game. How? Like, what the fuck? It's so stupid. It's perfectly not corrupted, by the way. So we should do... Jesus Christ, Photoshop. 60 up. Okay. See how that works. Man, everything is just not going my way today. Every little annoyance that could happen feels like it's been happening. I guarantee you this graphic will work perfectly fine. Oh, actually, it's partially... No, I know why it's happening. It's because the... So there should be minus 30. That makes sense, actually. It's because the image size is bigger. I wonder how it worked at all then. I guess maybe if there's 255 or more pixels on either, like, if all of the pixel data has like non-transparent, like non-black pixels, I guess that would make sense. But still kind of confusing that it didn't throw an error before. There you go. Well, I guess that's another little piece of trivia that I can throw into my own head. Okay. Let's see if that fixes the shadow offset over there. Yeah, that actually did it perfectly. Okay. Cool. Hey, I forgot I actually set the mutation pits wireframe up earlier. It's pretty silly that it took me that long to do that, but whatever. Oh, I guess I should do that for the Devourer Haunt as well. Oh, I don't have Vorval Pond or Nathrock Lake wireframes. Okay. Let's fix that then. So we're looking at this. I also need the Guardians. Okay. And I need to go find a bunch of shit for well, it's not really a bunch of shit, but I need to go find that wireframe that I was missing from the Aatrox buildings. Oh, man. These are all impact of power stuff. Oh, I think I just saw it. Oh no, that's Aatrox. I'm sure I'll find it eventually, guys. Hold on one sec. Oh man, maybe it was the one that didn't get done. Oh, I can't find it anyway, so maybe I just passed it. I don't think so. No, I think it just doesn't exist. Wacky. Okay, well, so much for that. Anyway, we know that Nathrok Lake is 210. And Devourer Haunt is already set up somewhere else. 197. Actually, I just remembered. Might actually have. Perfect. What is the Vorval Pond again? 204. Cool. I think that's everything. Oh, there's still 2 Protoss structures, or maybe only 1 Protoss structure now. Let me see. That's still... Yeah, I think I replaced the Stride and Stratum, but I don't think... Oh, no, the Celestial Shrine as well. Okay. Those are just lame-looking buildings, so I kind of forgot about them. Okay. Yeah, okay, so we're actually good, I think. Neat. Check that out. Oh, that was another thing I wanted to look at, was whether or not the reason for the Overlord Iris and ship being off-center, seemingly, was related to, like, visual offset around the graphic. The thing is, I'm not sure if that's the case, because... Oh, okay, it's definitely the case now that I see that. Okay, so we should fix that. I think a good way to do it would just be to add like 60 pixels or 50 pixels or something like that, in the vein of what we just did to the Gorgolith apiary. So we'll do that to the Overlord Iris, and that way the selection circle won't be so far down. And notably, the fact is, like, you can actually build below it where it looks like you're building on the base. So that shouldn't be too difficult to fix. I'm just going to see what we can do here. So I'll add 50 pixels. And we will see what we can do for this. How many frames are there? There are 11. And presumably this means we have got to do this here. Okay. Let's move all this shit over here. Get it out the way. Yeah, so no real leads there then. Icor told me he was going to investigate that at like 4 a.m. my time, and didn't say anything else about that. It feels pretty shitty, but... I'm not sure what you mean by cutting around the unit. I know what happened there. That does seem to have been a bit too extreme, I feel like. Or maybe not. Maybe it's perfect. Yeah, that's actually good. Okay, so let's grab that stuff. Oh, we are going to need to redo the damage overlays, but that's super easy to do. So now the Irelith Quay would be next in theory, but I'm not actually sure if it needs to be done in that way. So let's take a look at it. Apparently I never Gorgolith Apiary damaged. I don't know how that's possible. Wow. It's okay, we'll add it now. $1101 is the number. But without changing the canvas size, I'm confused though. That doesn't, it's not, okay, hold on. Because the BMP that crashes is canvassed, so you're suggesting to take the original. I don't know how to make a GRP that doesn't crash without resizing using image resizing, is what I'm getting at here. By image resizing, I can reduce, I guess I'm reducing the graphic below a certain amount. So what you're saying is that when I do the image resizing, right? It's actually because the graphic itself needs to be, the bounds of the graphic need to be 192 or less, is what you're saying? But I can't do that for this graphic. I mean, I guess what I could do is I could chop off the top and make that an overlay. So like I could crop out this stuff. Oh, okay. Well, I've already done basically what you're saying. Obviously, I haven't tightened out the borders, the left and right borders fully, but I don't think that's related. It seems like what I might have to do is just tighten out the top like this, cut out the 182 from 220, so that's a good 20, and then 38. So the top 38 pixels of this image will have to be cut, and then I will have to overlay the upper part So I'm not going to crop it out anyway, but take the top 38, copy and delete. And then well, the problem there is that the warp flash texture thing isn't actually going to affect the top, so I can't do that either without it looking really stupid. Yeah, you might have to test that what you're talking about yourself, because I can't see a way to make it so that it only works by 192 without deforming the graphic. Like the really convoluted way I can imagine doing this is having the grand library itself like completely retooling the graphic so that the base is smaller, and then when it finishes warping in, it initializes a turret type thing, like an overlay that would rise up basically. And the animation would really just be it rising up and slotting it into place. That's like a super convoluted way that in theory I could fix it, but that's a lot of work to do just to circumvent this really stupid limitation. The other thing I could do if I really wanted to is go into the PSD and remove the top obelisk, which seems to be causing the issues, but again, that feels really dumb as like a permanent fix. That's just, man, what an annoying situation to be in. All right, so let's anyway, now that I've done all this shit, I want to jump in and test. Oh, it's the wrong. This should be LOF. Bonk. I want to run in and test the alignment with some of the other stuff. Yeah, so this could be moved up, but maybe only by like 25 pixels. Not a whole 32. Maybe 30. It might warrant I don't know, 28. I'll do 28 for this one. And then obviously I'm going to have to fix the whatever it's called. The sprite stat thing where the selection circle position, there you go. I don't know why it was taking me so long to remember that. All right, let's do that. Oops. Okay. Glad there's just fucked up PNG in all capital letters. Oh. Okay. We're good now. Let me just do the sprite stat stuff real quick. I'm gonna say image pause can go down by like half. Yeah, it seems pretty good. Okay. All right, pretty sure we're good there. All right. We've done it. So I'm thinking about how I want to approach the next little bit of little chunk of code here. I think what I want to do is actually provide a weapon overlay similar to what I've done for the Phobos and the Empyrean. I want to do that for the Centaur, which is that big long ship, so that its missiles come out of appropriate parts of the vessel. And I also want to do it for. I might want to do it for the Pegasus. Basically, like I think most anything that has a projectile to it should probably have an associated overlay. I was even thinking of going as far as to go into the other units and be like, here's the Goliath, and now we're going to give it an overlay for missiles. So I might even do that. But we'll see. I don't know how much. Like, it would have to be an environment where you can make a discernible difference as to where the missile comes from, and it would actually visually look better. I think right now the Goliath just uses like an X offset or something, which might be sufficient. But if there are any cases like that where it would actually be more beneficial to have a specific missile source or projectile source, that's probably something that I would look into doing. What's up, Alexander? I wonder if maybe I should actually move these down a little bit. So I'm thinking of like down here might be better. Unfortunately, I can't like make it so that some of them are flagged as like spawning under or whatever. That's something that I would like to inevitably have access to in the future. Being able to say like, hey, you should spawn this projectile beneath the unit, or just having that be a default behavior maybe, I don't know. Although what's another cool aspect about this is this actually has a gameplay impact depending on what missile you're spawning. Because you might be spawning a missile that's like, you can imagine if it's a missile that deals AoE and moves a little slower, something like that. That's not the case here, but if you're making it spawn further back on the graphic, that gives more time to react, and obviously the inverse is also true. So how goes the attempt to crow pill Dynamo into thinking critically about monster design in FPS? Seems it's a difficult job so far. Only downside of doing this is that I really can't see wherever the other spawns are going to be. Not that I really could see much about it before either, but No, come on. Oh my god, dude. Oh, fuck. Wowie. Remember when I said every little thing that could go wrong went wrong? Why did it have to wait until I was mostly done? The silver lining is, I guess I can do this better this time around. But what the hell, man? It didn't have to be like that. Oh, boy. I, for one, am looking forward to not needing to do this in the new engine. Oh yeah, Alexander, you might be interested in this. We started working on the, well, by we I mean Veek. Wrote out a bit of a design document for the new engine and the structure for it and all that. So should be cool to get that in action. It certainly made me excited about starting to work on stuff because just thinking about like a better data structure gets me very excited. Okay, I've lived my entire modding, content developing life absent a proper data structure for any video game. As unbelievable as that sounds. No! At least I saved this time, but what the fuck? Is it just when I moved it? Holy moly, what's up, Wuck? I can't believe that's actually the problem. Oh, Windows. The fuck? Actually, Wuck, you might have some insights into data structure and programming and stuff that might be useful for us, I think. So one thing that we're trying to decide on is whether or not we're going to go for object-oriented or procedural. I don't have enough experience to make an informed decision myself, but I've seen a lot of scary aspects of object-oriented, and it does make me think that procedural would be superior. But I'd only have my gut for that, you know. I don't really have a good a logical answer, so I can't really say for sure whether or not it would be the best option. And another thing that we're trying to figure out is like how we should group together certain things. So there's, of course, the finally we made it through. Let me just jump into, I think it's in weapon fire. Yeah. Oh, wait. Oh, actually, this has to be like overlay special pointer because the image already has an attack overlay, I think. Oh, maybe not. How are we? Oh, never mind. Okay, so that's fine. And then overlay attack will have to be, holy shit, people are yelling outside my window. Yeah, we decided on C++ over C just because the, like the, well, hold on, I'll give you a, this is all the argumentation that Veek put forth. Allows for control and power, has a robust tool set of standard library, should yield good for performance if we do it right while not being too low level. C would slow down the process and wouldn't give us any advantage really. I didn't like the dismissiveness of that, but the main points are hard to argue against. But, you know, some of the ideas for coding rules or whatever, like, we should not have clearly related things in totally separate parts of code. We should not copy paste. We should group related stuff together, but avoid huge classes that do too many different things, since we need stuff to be modular so we can reuse it later. Circular dependencies are a no-no, stuff like this. Right. So we're gonna have to, yeah, we're gonna have to dive in at that at some point. But let's see if my stuff did any work. Oh, what's it called? Did I add it in the wrong? Oh, it's a log, not a lof. That was my own dumb fault. It's working! There probably shouldn't be a launch spin now, though. Oh yeah, obviously I'm doing some stuff. But I'll probably be doing small changes here and there as opposed to massive things. I'm not sure. We'll see what needs to be done. Alright. No launch spin allowed. One of the first times I've ever legislated against spinning in a game. Oh, really? That's embarrassing. That works out, I think. Man, I wonder how many downloads are wrong. Oh, the GitLab is, or the GitHub download link, there's not even a download section in most cases, which is a little odd. But yeah, I'll fix that. All right, should be fixed. Yeah, we're going to be doing something like that ourselves. Did this happen to me before yesterday when I was pushing this stuff? And I had to restart the program in order for it to push correctly. I don't know why. It's pretty annoying. I think Dynamo is being intentionally fucking dense. That's what I think. Well, it's probably just a case of him not ever playing a game that does what we're talking about. So he's trying to draw upon all of the experiences he has instead of thinking of outside the box. Yeah, something to like hot patch data in the middle of runtime would be really useful. Like if you see an error in like a graphic or something, you shouldn't have to restart the game to fix that, you know? Whereas like maybe you find an error in your AI script and you have to fix that, and then you restart the instance of the game, like you restart the map or whatever, but you wouldn't have to close and reopen the game in theory. Well, I think that'll do it for me today. It was quite the stream. Got I don't know about a lot of work done, but at least we researched that weird Grand Library crash. I don't really know if there's anything that could possibly fix it. But we got a couple more assets in the game. We got better Zerg assets in the game. That's definitely positive um, for the buildings and stuff. So yeah, things are looking good. So I'll leave it at that for now. Thanks everybody who popped in and hung out. Looking forward to getting started on the new engine after Veek put together that little listing there. Quite enticing. And yeah. Bye-bye.